Here we are. A pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com, and welcome to Night Moves here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. So get ready for the action here on Thursday, March 5th. I'm Ramon Scott, coming to you live from Las Vegas. We're going to preview action in the NBA, NHL, and we'll look at the best games in college basketball from the tournament scene tomorrow. For the most part, might look at one impactful game from the MEAC, but other than that, we're going to focus on conference tournaments here that got underway on Wednesday in a big way. Several tournaments playing their first round, second round games there a little bit. We'll follow the tournaments all the way through Selection Sunday here on Night Moves. We were able to come through with a few winners there last night on the show. Hope you were able to cash in as well with some of the college basketball action. There were some other games out there as well involving some of the big conferences we didn't cover last night as far as previews were concerned, but Arkansas put up 105 on Texas there in a 105-85 win. The Razorbacks led by 22 at halftime, and Darius Acuff continues to roll, really almost an underrated player here at this point for Arkansas. So many other talented players out there getting attention this year, but this man's been on fire. Florida State held on to beat Pittsburgh 75-74. Florida State led by 24 points early in the second half, and Pittsburgh just kept coming and kept coming. I think Pittsburgh actually got the money there as a home dog in that one. Seminoles have won 8 of 10. Colorado State over New Mexico last night, 82-74. Colorado State won 8 games in a row right now, and the Lobos slipped down there with San Diego State there, as Utah State still hanging on in the Mountain West. Purdue holds off Northwestern. Northwestern led by 11 late. You know they were looking to storm the court in Evanston. However, Purdue got the win. Purdue just struggling here a little bit heading into the tournament, but they did dominate on the glass in that game. Dominated inside, really, to overcome Northwestern there last night. And those are some of the non-tournament games there from yesterday. We did bring home some winners here on Night Moves last night during the show. We also previewed other games there here last night with you guys. So appreciate you joining me here to do the same thing again here tonight. And also we're going to talk about our premium picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. We'll go to the handicapper leaderboards. Really only had a couple winners here last night. Mercyhurst over Fairleigh Dickinson. I know that was a winner for us, but let's go over to Tony'sPicks.com and take a look at the handicapper leaderboards. I won't be on them today. I know that for sure. A little bit of a weak sauce there for me on Wednesday night, but I'll bring it back. I want to focus on those guys that did have a good day. I'll go over to Tony'sPicks.com and take a look at the handicapper leaderboards from Wednesday night's action here and see who was hot. Bring it up here. Thanks for joining me here on Night Moves. Everybody in the chat piling in. We got a couple dozen of you coming in here right now, so that's what we'll do. Keep it moving here. Let me do it. Here we go. Let's go to those handicapper leaderboards over at Tony'sPicks.com, and Bodon getting it done. They're 4-0 yesterday. Perfect day for Bo. Man, he's been good since coming back to the site. Ron Crawford, my man, 7-3 in there. What a day for Ron. They're bringing it home with 7 winners. Vegas Al Rodriguez, 2-0 there yesterday. Perfect day yesterday for Vegas Al. Also, Solo Malone, 3-1 yesterday. Tony T went 3-1. You know, is the meter stuck on Al Ninos 1-0? Because Al just continues to get it done every day. I can fully endorse Al here for your sports betting tip needs. Every day I'm on this show, he's 1-0. They can't do it any better than that. Great job by Al. That's why he's on those long-term leaderboards here. Chris Adkins 1-0, the VIP account 2-1. Kevin Thomas 3-2, and Mills Young in the green on Wednesday. Over the last 7 days, Stephen Duncan leading the way, up over 5 units here so far. This over the last 7 days, Mills Young, 3 3/4 units of profit here over the last week. There's Al Ninos. I don't know where those 3 losses came from, because Al only wins. He's up 2 3/4 over the last 7 days. Solo Malone up 2 3/4 over the last 7 days. Tom Regard up 2.5 units over the last 7 days. Rod Zawacki up over 2 1/3 units over the last 7 days. Kevin Thomas nearly 2 1/3 units of profit. I'm up there hanging on in the last 7 days. Joey Tron also in the green, VIP account in the green. Tony T, Ron Hahn, Damian Sauce, Justin McKelvey, all these guys showing profit here. Brian Bittler and David Racy. Good totals here. For the last 7 days, last 30 days, Stephen Duncan on top of the handicapper leaderboards here, up over 21 units. Nick Lagarettos up nearly 12 units. I'm up there over the last 30 days, up nearly 8.5 units. David Racy up over 5.5 units over the last 30 days. Al Ninos up nearly 5 units over the last 30 days. And Mills Young up nearly 4 2/3 units over the last 30 days over there at Tony'sPicks.com. You can click on the handicapper of your choice. When you click on the All Cappers tab, find their handicapper profile page. Click on those handicapper profiles, take a look at what they have to offer, and that's how you get signed up. Now would be a great time to roll with me for a week here over at Tony'sPicks.com, heading into this big sports weekend with all of our conference tournament action underway. I had 7 plays today, didn't bring home a profit, but I've been profitable here for the last 30 days, as you saw, so why not join me over at Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off all premium pick packages, including mine, here on Thursdays. Check us all out over at Tony'sPicks.com. I want to say hello to the folks filing in here, the members of the chat pros right now for our show here today. Should be a good one, considering we're getting to that point of the year. We're not previewing all the NBA games. We're not previewing all the NHL games. Some of our teams are a little bit out of reach, out of focus. Tim M was here today, first of all, to join us. Timmy Two Shoes as well. Mr. Weskers is in the chat. He said he got lucky there with Arkansas. All right, let's see. Hey, Greg is here. Greg is here. Good to have Greg in the chat. Timmy had the Clippers. He had Washington in there. And let's see here. Who else is going to join us today? That might be it. The guys are having a conversation in the chat, so I might as well get ready, get rolling, and get started with our previews here for the action on Thursday. There's also some other sports action here. We're going to have a big tennis was underway. I couldn't bring home my winners in tennis here on opening day of Indian Wells after I talked so much garbage here on the show how I was going to crush over at Indian Wells. But we'll get them here. Going to be another good day of first round action out at Indian Wells. So, man, I got to get it. But I did have Fonseca in that late match over Collignon, and he was able to get it done, but did get let down by Alicia Parks, pretty much a no-show. And Tomljanovic beat Gabrielle Ruse yesterday. So, all right, here we go. We'll talk about a little bit. So tennis action continues at Indian Wells. Also coming up here this morning, Arnold Palmer Invitational in just a few hours. Actually, they're going to be teeing off here in about little less than 4 hours, I think, here with our tea times on Thursday at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So some good golf action here as well. Also on Thursday, a little bit of action from the pitch, if you will, for our Thursday action. So keep you posted over at Tony'sPicks.com. We have premium picks, of course, in soccer as well. And we got one Premier League here game on Thursday. All right, but there's plenty of action here as well at the World Baseball Classic. Australia with a 3-0 win, an upset to open the action last night at the World Baseball Classic. And we're just less than 2 hours away from another game here right now at the World Baseball Classic. You want some middle of the night sports action? Probably right as we're getting off the air here, we're going to have a baseball from Japan here. There's B. Barty there in the chat. Great to have B. Barty in there. And also want to say hello to Solo. We just talked about him and his hot streak there from Wednesday. Hello to Solo. Great job. All right, and Cal Dog in there. So, World Baseball Classic, more action coming up here in just a little less than 2 hours. We have a game here in the middle of the night from Japan. That first game, Australia, with an upset. Now, it will be Czechia going up against South Korea. Now, the talent gap is a little bit different than what we just saw in the last game. Australia's got a pretty nice team. It was an upset there for Australia to win, but I think in this one, Korea's lineup, even without a couple of stars here right now, they should still profile deeper than Czechia here. So I think it'll be a multi-win victory. I'll probably be able to cover even this number. The line is 6.5 here tonight in the game coming up from Japan here at the World Baseball Classic. It was a good atmosphere there last night. This one will be a little bit more one-sided tonight. The line is 6.5. I'm willing to lay it here. I think I'll try to make the total a stronger play because South Korea should win by, I would think, 7 or more runs actually here. They are minus 120, laying 6.5 runs. And I think I'm still going to do it here with South Korea. Probably stay under here. I know with laying 6.5, it does make it a little bit tough if you want to stay under, but I really think it's going to be somewhere in there, maybe in the, 9-2 stays under the total. Can you really thread the needle here with that one? Oh, man, or is Czechia going to get shut out? So I guess I prefer the under there on the total there if you don't want to lay 6.5, but I think laying 6.5 might be the better way to go. Look, Hyung Jun So, I think, is starting in this game for South Korea. There is pitch count limits on the starters in this round. They can only go 65 pitches, and then they got to go in the bullpen. So still think South Korea gets it done there. Korea will dominate this matchup, I would think, for sure. All right, I'll lean to the under here. That's going to be tough with needing to win by 7 runs and the total 11.5. I guess 9-2 is about the danger zone right there, but maybe it gets in there, maybe 8-0, maybe 8-1, maybe 9-1, maybe 9-2. I've got to go right in that window right there. I think that's where it's going to be tonight when South Korea takes on Czechia. And then they'll play again here. They'll play Australia tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. And then Friday, the rest of the teams get going here, especially games being played here with the United States taking on Brazil as part of the featured matchup on Friday. All right, part of the World Baseball Classic. All right. Want to say hello to Nunya in the chat here. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get ready. Let's talk some sports that we know in here right now with our coverage here in the NBA. Guess what? We're skipping the first game. Sorry. we're getting to that point where we can kick some of the teams to the curb. We've just got too many games to preview. So Utah and Washington, I know those are some of your favorite teams this year. No preview for Utah and Washington. Let's kick it off with the Mavericks here taking on the Orlando Magic in this one in Orlando, and why not? I mean, this is about Orlando here right now and their pursuit of the postseason. They're currently sitting, inside the playoff bubble. That's good news for the Orlando Magic here. Uh, yes, they might be having to hold off some hard charging teams, but right now they're looking pretty good. Still got less than a couple dozen games left. We got Orlando here coming in 32 and 28. They're currently a game and a half ahead of the hard charging Hornets and Hawks. So those teams are coming on like gangbusters here right now. For Dallas, they're in the tankathon here at this point. We've talked about it. Not all the big favorites are coming through here, but in a role like this, I might be willing to do it. I know the Sharps are probably going to still want to take Dallas here, and we'll have to check on the status of Dallas star Cooper Flagg. He almost was able to return last game, really almost came down to a game time decision, going through the motions a little bit to try to see if he could be ready for the game, but it turned out he was not. In this game, he will still have the questionable tag heading into this one. There are other injuries here for Dallas right now. Marvin Bagley, he is out of this game. Brandon Williams is probable, though. Klay Thompson probable. Najee Marshall is probable now for Orlando. Franz Wagner continues to be out of this lineup. Wendell Carter's questionable. Anthony Black is questionable here, so a couple pieces missing for the Magic, but still a big favorite because Dallas just hasn't looked that good. Yes, with Flagg in there, maybe if he is in there, they can hang in this game, maybe cover. But remember, even before Flagg was injured, when he was in the game, they were already having trouble. And remember, it was kind of like, wow, we got a one-man team here, and it's not one of those ball hog one-man teams. It's just that he was the only guy who was really getting much done with the Mavericks lineup. Mavericks have lost 4 straight games here, failing to cover in 3 of those. They are 11 and 17 against the spread on the road, 21 and 20 against the spread as an underdog. They've actually won 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Orlando Magic, but they've dropped 15 of their last 19 on the road and gone 4 and 8 against the spread in their last 12 games overall. For the Magic here, they've covered 5 of their last 7 coming into this one. They're coming in off of a tankathon win over Washington at home. They got the money there. They were laying 16 in the end, won by 17. So I didn't even realize it went up that high. I mean, I don't think they were favored by 16 when we talked about that game there 2 nights ago. But before that, they did lose to a couple of tough cookies in Detroit and Houston. But Orlando's done a little bit of covering here, like I said, of late. Overall, they're just 17 and 23 against the spread as a favorite. But my theme is continue to roll and pound these teams that are not heading to the postseason when they're taking on teams that probably are heading to the postseason. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams have gone under. However, Orlando has gone over in 6 of their last 8 at home and over in 4 of their last 6 games. You don't need me to tell you if you already know how I've been playing this. Yeah, the Tankathon teams didn't get the sweep or anything there last night either. They've not gotten the money every time here, but I just refuse really to go on some of these. I used to try to take some of the teams getting the extra points here at the end, but really it's been a bit of a recipe for disaster long term if you just played them, here and there. So I don't want to say it's blindly here. Like I said, there is some criteria to this, but I am taking Orlando in this one, minus 8.5 points here on Thursday over the Dallas Mavericks. How'd the Tankathon do yesterday, really, with the with the matchups. Philadelphia did not get it done against Utah in the Tankathon. Portland didn't get it done in the Tankathon, and I did though say that was starting to get a little bit too high there in that game. We won with the total in that game actually on night moves with Portland and Memphis yesterday. We had the total under, and that was a winner. We also had Charlotte and Boston under on the show last night. We had the Knicks on the show last night here as well. What was there? There was one other Tankathon game. Oh, the Clippers. The Clippers rolled in the Tankathon last night over the Indiana Pacers to get it done. So I'm going to stick with it here and go into the Tankathon with Orlando. The way we work this show is I come on here and try to give my best opinion, but sometimes the best opinion comes from our chat pros, and let's take a look at what they had to say. When you comment here in the chat, then I show your picks on the screen, and people want to hear from more than just me, I think. So Andre said Magic and the over. Timmy Chushu says lay it with the Magic in this one. And Mr. Wesker says, what do they have to play for besides a first round exit? Good point, Mr. Wesker. But I will say, I think this is a positive season for the Orlando Magic here. I don't know if they're behind schedule or ahead of schedule. Maybe they're right on schedule here, but I'm still thinking here that look, yes, if they end up here playing the Celtics or whatever, I think that's where they're gonna be. Right now, they are tied with the Heat. They're one game behind the Magic. So right now, it's pretty much I think 5 teams for 3 spots between Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, and Atlanta. I'm really starting to lose contact with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. They are 6.5 back of the postseason, so they're really going to have to get it going. So I think you got 5 teams battling for 3 spots in there. All right, Paolo over in his PRA prop. Cal Dog is on the Magic, and Mr. Wesker can't lay it with the Magic here. And let's see here. I think Andre thinks that Magic might go into a little bit of tailspin right now. Magic first half for Cal Dog. Timmy says Dallas don't even care. Greg says take the under in this one. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Cal Dog says if the Kings can win by 9 against Dallas, then take the Magic here. Mr. Wesker says, Philadelphia, what are they doing in the front office? Okay, I think that's it for that one. I'm taking Orlando. All right, the Warriors here. The skid continues. I don't know how else to look at it right now. When we started talking about the playoffs here right before the All-Star break, kind of settling in for who's going to be in the position to go to the postseason. The Warriors, I think we're up by about 3 games in that category, but they've lost 3 of 4 here right now. You got the Clippers, the Trailblazers, just like we said, on their heels. Maybe the Clippers a little bit more than the Blazers, but still, Clippers just 1 game back of the Warriors. Trailblazers just 2 games back of the Warriors. The Suns have actually pulled ahead of the Warriors by 4 games. So I'm starting to look at 3 teams for 1 spot. The Warriors, the Clippers, and the Trailblazers. Now anything can happen with the Suns. Maybe but they're still 9 games over 500. So they're doing a good job. Houston here, they're also doing a good job. They are tied for 3rd right now with the Timberwolves. Also in that group, the Nuggets and the Lakers. You have 4 teams separated by a game and a half between 3rd place and 6th place right now. So you do have here the Rockets, pretty considerable favorite, of course, by 9. Not a tankathon, that's for sure, because the Warriors they're in the playoff picture. They're in right now if the season were to end, but without Curry here right now, we're waiting for him to come back. But we already said he's going to probably miss, 4 more games? And if he's got a knee injury right now, can they really pin it down that he'll be even ready to go in 4 games or whatever? Hopefully he would. But look, it's clutch time. It's crunch time. And, yeah, the Warriors are not going anywhere or anything like that. But if he's not playing, it's kind of like, where are they really headed here? All right, so Curry out, Moses Moody out, Will Richard out, KP he's still out. Steam playing. So you got these guys missing here. Also, Gary Payton questionable for Golden State. Shingun is questionable here for Houston tonight in this one. Amen Thompson questionable. Jabari Smith questionable as well. So you do have some pieces here missing a little bit for the Houston Rockets in this one. They're favored by 9. And the total here is 216. We got a low one here with these two for sure. Golden State's just 2-5 straight up in their last 7, and 2-7 straight up in their last 9 coming in. Golden State just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 meetings with the Houston Rockets. These two teams met back in November in their first meeting. The Rockets won on the road. 104-100 is a 3.5-point dog against the Warriors. The Warriors are just 12-17 against the spread on the road, 8-12 against the spread as an underdog, but Houston qualifies as one of the worst spread teams too. 10-17 against the spread at home, 22-32 against the spread as a favorite. However, Houston has won 4 of their last 5 coming into this one, including a win over Washington last time out. They couldn't cover in the Tankathon, however. Still, they've covered 4 out of their last 6 games overall. 9 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Golden State's gone over in 6 of their last 8. But you see the total there. This is a low total of the day here right now at 216, meaning that we're not necessarily expecting a ton of points here. That first meeting was 204, as I said there. And you got Houston is 9-18 to the under at home. Now, Golden State is 16-13 to the over on the road, but 9-11 to the under as a dog here. So I think that's kind of where it kind of points to here at this time. I'm going to go under here with the Warriors and the Rockets on Thursday night. Give me the under here. Maybe the Warriors are in the Tankathon, but Houston is a pretty crummy cover, that's for sure. Warriors with back-to-back home losses to the Lakers and the Clippers. Houston, meanwhile, failed to cover here in 2 straight. Let's go to the chat pros and see what they have for this one. All right, and Timmy Two Shoes might take Golden State here. Andre is going to take them. Timmy says Rockets just don't have that same feel for them. So, all right, Santos, 14 plus points for Andre. I mean, they're lucky they've had Santos to kind of perform here pretty decently, but they've missed, the Warriors are a little bit thin, aren't they? All right, let's see here. Moody, 2 plus 3s for Andre as well. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I mean, don't forget the. We just read off the injury report there. Don't forget. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see here. Mr. Weskers doesn't like the lineup that the Warriors have been throwing out there. And Andre looking like he might like the under. Cal Dog says if Sengun doesn't play, he can't lay 9 points. And, might be reflected in the line as well. All right. Greg says he's got the under here. And I think that's what I'll do is I'll take the under in this one with Golden State and Houston here on Thursday night. All right, we got to take a look at this one. We're no problem here with the Heat. Like I said, we're still going to focus on teams that are heading to the postseason, even if their opponent might be in the Tankathon, and that's where we're at with this one. I was worried a little bit about the Heat and their ability or inability maybe to cover some of these larger spreads against the teams who are not being very competitive. But they've done a decent job here in a couple of them, and I might want to do them again. The total here is 222.5, not 2,225. There we go. The graphics man was having a rough night. All right, you got the Heat here in this one. Coming in 33 and 29. Brooklyn just 15 and 46. It's Brooklyn on a losing streak here. They're not showing any life here. They've lost 9 in a row, 1 and 8 against the spread in those 9 games. They're just 1 and 4 against the spread in their last 5 against the Miami Heat. Miami comes in having won 5 of their last 7, covering 5 of their last 7, and they've covered 4 of their last 6 at home. 7 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under coming here into this one. These two teams did meet back here on just a couple of days ago, and it was 124 to 98. Miami won here at home, laying 13 points. They also covered on the road back in December, 106 to 95. So Miami might have their number. Not only that, Miami is a pretty good cover team, and Brooklyn's not. I mean, it hasn't even been promising for the Nets, it feels like, here this season. Miami's 17 and 13 against the spread at home, 18 and 14 against the spread as a favorite. Brooklyn here has failed to cover in all of those games that I mentioned. They're 12 and 19 against the spread on the road and 24 and 33 against the spread as an underdog. So I think we're in the tankathon here, and I think Miami can win this one by. I think they can win this one close to 17 points here. I think today. I like this one for a tankathon game, and I'm gonna roll here again with the Miami Heat to get it done. Look, I mentioned that total. I think that's if you want to stay away from the big spread, maybe still going to play this game. Brooklyn is 12 and 19 to the under on the road. Miami's 14 and 18 to the under as a favorite. And like I said, 7 straight meetings between the teams have gone under. Yeah, we're in the latter portion of the season, which may have some volatility, but it's not like Brooklyn's been any good and Miami's been kind of this caliber of team here. Maybe they've been a little bit better here. Maybe they're fading just a tad with this program here right now. But hey, they're in the playoffs if they ended today, and they're trying to fight off the Hornets and the Hawks. So I'll take the Miami Heat to blow them out here on Thursday. And you guys are asking about the injury report. Fair enough. Normie Powell is out of this game. Jovic is out as well. Fontecchio, he's out for Miami. For Brooklyn, Demon, he's questionable. Okay, let's go here. All right. Mr. Wesker says the value is when Golden State's favored and you're fading them. And he says, I take a lot of unders. Yeah, I do take a lot of unders. Unders are boring, aren't they? These guys have to play again? Can't lay 12.5 with Andre says with the Heat. He says take the Nets and the points and also take the over. And Timmy says maybe the Nets can get the back door. All right. Andre says, fair enough with Andre here saying, you just don't know if the Heat are going to be covering the big number or not. They just covered that game against Brooklyn, like I said, but they also covered at home against Memphis, laying 12 points. So they've in the last 2, true tankathon home games here, they have rolled in those games. They beat Memphis by 16 as a 12-point favorite. Okay. And Jimmy says maybe the Nets can close it late. Cal Dog likes the over here in this one. Greg says take Miami. They'll blow them out in the 4th. And Jimmy says, man, the Heat, could they score? Could the Nets get 100 here in this game? Well, let's see here. I mean, you got to look at this prognosticated score, I guess, right? I mean, it would be, 118 to 102? Or so, 103, 119 to 103, somewhere right in there, huh? And Andre likes Porter here to get his points. All right, let's keep it moving here right now. And we've got a good one here next up. Pistons and Spurs NBA action for Thursday here with the Spurs favorite 3 minus 3.5, maybe 3.5, right around there. Total 228.5. Both teams coming in here playing well, no doubt about it. For the Pistons here, they did lose to the Cavaliers last time out by 4, getting 2.5. Tough game, didn't win, didn't cover. Before that, they had won 3 straight, including a win and cover at Orlando. However, they have not been terrific against the spread of late. Seattle, meanwhile, coming in off of a win over Philly by 40 points on the road last time out. Man, the Spurs getting it done. They run a long road trip, and they came through with flying colors. Road wins over Philly, Brooklyn, Toronto, and Detroit, covering 3 of those 4 games. They did lose to the Knicks, remember. San Antonio still 15-11 against the spread at home, but the Detroit Pistons are an underdog here, and the Detroit Pistons have been an underdog 11 times this season. They've covered the spread in 10 of those 11 meetings here, talking about the Detroit Pistons. They're also 17-12 against the spread on the road. San Antonio's been a good cover, but as a favorite, they're just 22-20 against the spread. And you're going up against this incredible underdog team in the Detroit Pistons here, who continue to lead the East by 5 games over the Celtics. And, Celtics are still firing. I mean, Pistons have to feel a little bit motivated here. Still tough game when you're going on the road, taking on a fellow top tier team, right? Spurs are 3.5 back of the Thunder. They're slowly falling away from the Thunder, though, and it feels like right now with a couple of games here with that loss to the Knicks. But they got to within 2 games, and now it's 3.5 because the Thunder continues to play well and they're getting healthy. So these 2 teams did play their first meeting just about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Spurs won it 114-103 at Detroit. So you could argue for revenge here, although Detroit's on the road now. Total in that one was 232, and it went way under. This is it's a pretty modest total here at 228, but we talked about it in that last game too, because we were talking about the potential for an under in that last game, and it did go considerably under. It's because Detroit 11-17 to the under on the road. Spurs 18-26 to the under as a favorite. So it feels like in these, the role, if you will, it almost seems very deliberate here with Detroit. Yes, they've gone just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. They've lost 14 of the last 20 to the Spurs, going just 5-10 against the spread in the last 15 against San Antonio. San Antonio's won 12 of their last 13 games and covered the spread in 10 of those games. Spurs have gone under in 4 of their last 5 straight meetings between the 2 teams have gone under as well. But I'm going to take Detroit here. Obviously, a very strong record. They're coming in off of a loss. I'm going to take them here at plus 3. I don't know if I'm not getting, we're getting a full value. In fact, you can find plenty of 3.5s out there. I got to take Detroit and try to ride this 10-1 underdog record here this year. But like I said, these are solid under teams right now, and they just played 222 last time. Probably be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Pistons, though, plus the points here in this one. Let's take a look at what the chat pros have here in this game. It's going to be Timmy Choo Shoes, like in Detroit. Andre, though, says lay it with the Spurs and go over. Want to say hello and nice to see Viral Industries in the chat today. How you been? Andre says Wemby for a double-double and a couple of blocks here, 2+ blocks. And Greg says, I'm going to lay it here with the Spurs. Maybe, it's built in here a little bit. The Pistons are, so good that you don't get a chance to lay such a short number, I think, with the Spurs. Like I said, it's just they're not a great favorite. Cal Dog likes the Spurs. Andre says Cunningham 25 plus, as long as he doesn't, kind of wilt at the end of the game there. Mr. Wester is concerned with Pistons offense, but also he says that he thinks the Spurs are kind of struggling. That kind of fades into that possible under, huh? All right, Pistons here can't shoot the three, says Andre now. And there's Timmy talking about the World Baseball Classic in there. And Viral says Detroit going to get it together. All right, I'm going to take Detroit here in this one. All right, the Raptors are on the road taking on the Timberwolves. Got two playoff-bound teams here, it feels like. I don't think these guys are going to fall out of the postseason picture here right now. You got Minnesota, of course. Just mentioned them. Basically in fourth place, tied with the Rockets for third, but the tiebreaker percentage points and head-to-head here. But still, the Wolves have won 4 straight games coming into this game. They're hot with wins over Memphis, Denver, Clippers, and Portland. The problem is they can't cover the spread. They failed to cover in 3 of those 4 wins, laying too many points to teams like Portland, the Clippers, and Memphis. They did cover, of course, against Denver. They were a slight dog. For Toronto here, they come in off of a loss to the Knicks at home. We know they can't play the Knicks very well. They got blown out in that game in the end. They've actually lost 3 of their last 4, but those losses were to OKC, San Antonio, and New York. Problem is, the Wolves are kind of in that group here as well. So, look, Toronto's probably the better cover, though. We know Minnesota has trouble getting some of these numbers here for the Raptors. They're currently sitting, in fifth place here. That's, pretty darn good. I don't know. That still could fall a little bit, but with so many teams behind them here right now, I think the Raptors are good to go here as long as they don't go on a massive losing streak. Toronto's 17-12 against the spread on the road and 15-10 against the spread as an underdog. We know Minnesota, though, has been pretty dismal. 13-19 against the spread at home and 19-31 against the spread as a favorite. So overrated Minnesota at home, no matter how you look at it. That's the way I look at it anyway. I guess not no matter how you look at it. You might just think they've been laying too many points by mistake. Minnesota's won 7 of their last 8, including 4 of their last 5 at home, but gone 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. Toronto's actually covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams, and Toronto's won 8 of the last 16 overall. Toronto's also gone 4-1 straight up in their last 5 on the road. This is a good situation maybe for Toronto here. Toronto's gone under in 6 of their last 8. Minnesota's gone under in 4 of their last 6, and these two teams are under teams for sure here. Minnesota's 11-21 to the under at home, and Toronto 11-18 to the under on the road. So I'm going to go under in this one. Chalk me up for another under. I'm not actually the Mr. Westwood says he doesn't know anyone who goes on. Well, maybe he doesn't know anyone, but there is a famous capper who makes unders great again. Mugga, a top capper. That's not his name. That's my nickname for him. But making unders great again. That's what you got to do. It is often said, if you took dogs and under every game blind, you'd be better off. But we don't play it like that. I mean, the only way to really get ahead, you can't play those blind. You've got to zig and zag to be a winner in this game. Come on. Let's go to the chat and see what you have in this one. got plays from the chat all-stars that need to be seen on the screen. You don't not need to hear from me. All right. We don't hit this game, we're paying $8 gas now. All right. Raptors plus the points here, says Andre. Jimmy says it's kind of moving toward the Raptors because it was 7, right? I agree with that. I mean, one Square Offshore book has it down to 5.5 here right now. And like I said, I mean the Raptors are playing well, right? I mean, they're going the post. If you look at the comparison of the win-loss records, even right. Raptors with 35 wins. Yeah, the Wolves have 39 wins, but is the West really better, like everybody says, or because the West? It feels like the West is a little bottom heavy with bad teams compared. Yeah, there's some bad teams in the East too, so I guess fair enough. But here's a Barnes over in his points and assists. Cal Dog on the Raptors. And Mr. Wesker says the Raptors money line. Timmy says the Timberwolves to crush them here. Take the Timberwolves, the Nuggets in Toronto, playing to qualify for the playoffs, or to go to China, I guess. Maybe the playoffs are going to be in China. All right, let's see here. Viral Industry says first half Raptors will make it hard, but they'll crush in the second half. Okay. Mr. Westford says the Timberwolves will win the West. They're 9 games out of. Oh, he means in the playoffs. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. Unders to the cows come home. All right, I guess that's it for the chat pros there. Hey, I got a couple more games here to look at. We're skipping the last game between the Pelicans and the Kings. I know that we're disappointing all those Pelicans. And give the Pelicans, right, a little bit of credit there. They've actually they lost a couple, but okay, here we go. All right, we're in the tankathon here for sure with the Bulls taking on the Suns. Suns are 11.5 point favorites, total 224.5 here in this one. And, some of the games I feel like, maybe I'm just having fun with the theme of the show. And look, we're not going big on the tankathon games. A couple we've had as premium. Those ones are maybe a little bit more confident. This one, too. Maybe a little bit more confidence in the Phoenix Suns in this one, in a tankathon situation. The Suns, look, a lot of people have been critical of the Suns, post, I won't even say post All-Star break, maybe into February here. They've slipped a little bit, but, a lot of people were saying, the injuries are getting to. Are they really? I mean, yes, Dylan Brooks, you'd like to have him in there, but it gets in the way sometimes. I'm not going to. Mark Williams is out here for the Suns also. Malawak, he's also questionable here. Definitely some significant injuries here for the Bulls. Giddey's questionable. Buzelis is questionable. Patrick Williams is questionable. Jalen Smith is doubtful. Williams is actually doubtful here. Simons is out for the Bulls. So Bulls come in here, though, off of a loss. They did win against Milwaukee in that blowout. And then they did cover that last game to Oklahoma City. So the Bulls have 2 covers in a row. But the Kings are coming off back-to-back wins and covers against the Lakers at home. And they blew out the Kings on the road in the tankathon. Phoenix is 19-10 against the spread as a favorite, 19-13 against the spread at home. Chicago just 11-17 against the spread on the road. They're a decent underdog, but this is also, we're in the tankathon now, and probably just going to look at one-way traffic here for me. If you did want to look at the total instead, again, here with the blowout game, I probably would look heavily, actually, to the under with these Phoenix games. They're 11-20 to the under at home, 11-18 to the under as a favorite. The Bulls are 17-21 to the under as a dog. I mentioned, on the road that they're, not a very good cover. They are 16-12 to the over on the road, but the Bulls have gone under in 5 straight, kind of, as the season is, it's gone for them now pretty much. And Phoenix, though, just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7, 1-4 against the spread at home. They've gone under and 4 their last 6. But I would think that it'll be a heavy possibility of an under here with these two. The first meeting, though, of the season here for these two teams, and Chicago has lost. They're a big underdog here, so they're going to lose. But they've lost 10 straight games to the Phoenix Suns, and they've lost 12 of their last 13 overall. So not much effort here from the Bulls right now. But like I said, they did cover a couple of them. Going to take the Suns, of course, here in the Tankathon. Bulls a little bit of life here with these two covers here, but remember they were favored in that game against Sacramento when they beat them by 11, laying 9.5. So let's see what you have here in this one. Bulls and Suns. Okay, here we go. Maybe take a look at the injury report here as well with these two. I think about one significant injury there, like I said, with Giddy. But all right, here's, let's see. Yeah, Mr. Weskers was done with the Suns here. And Suns win, but Bulls cover, says Andre. And no defense for Andre, says in this game. I don't know. I think the Bulls are going to have some real problems here reaching the 100-point mark against Phoenix. Don't forget, look, yes, Phoenix has had, some issues. They're still a top 6 defensive team scoring-wise. Let's see here. That might be it. Here, Timmy talking about Gillespie in there. Okay. I'll take the Suns in the Tankathon. All right, we're going to go just one more here with the Lakers and the Nuggets here in this one tonight with the Lakers. They're getting 5 here at the Nugs, and we'll see what the lineup. I think we're all clear, though, actually, in this game tonight as far as, major impactful injuries are concerned. Let me take a quick look here. Oh, what's up with I'm watching Live Golf tonight. Could Anthony Kim win again? He's right there on the leaderboard again. Okay, Nuggets, Cameron Johnson, questionable. Spencer Jones is out, but that's pretty much it for the short-term injuries. Lakers, clean bill of health here. The Lakers, you don't think of the Lakers as a team that, I know they're underdogs here, but they've been covering as a favorite here a little bit. They've won 3 straight right now with wins over Golden State, Sacramento, and New Orleans. They're not the best of favorites. We know that. But actually, right now, they are terrible as an underdog. The Lakers just 8-15 as an underdog this season now. Denver's mediocre against the spread as a home favorite. They're actually okay on the road a little bit here, and they're not a dog often, but this isn't a great roll. They are 13-15 against the spread at home, 19-21 against the spread as a favorite. The Lakers are 17-14 ATS on the road, but they're a dismal dog, no doubt about it. And the Nuggets should have the motivation here. They are just a half a game ahead of the Lakers right now for 5th place, and it'd be nice for the Nuggets for them if they could get to 4th or 3rd, but right now they're in 5th. Let's see what you have in this one with the Nuggets taking on the Lakers here. Denver's just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 games overall. The Lakers have actually covered 5 straight trips here into Denver, but they've lost 14 of the last 18 meetings between the two teams, yet have still covered 6 of the last 7. So usually the Nuggets have been favored sometimes, but the Lakers actually have covered as a dog in the series here. The Lakers won back in January here, 115-107 as a 3.5-point favorite, though. There was no Jokic in that game, and I think they were actually missing another part. Maybe that was just when Gordon was having issues, right? Denver did win. Let's see, in that was, oh man, okay. So last year they beat them here by 5 in a meeting nearly a year to the date, but they were a 15-point favorite in that one. So that was when the Lakers had their own set of issues, I guess. I would think this game, look, maybe the Nuggets are your cup of tea. I don't mind them either here in this role, but I'm going over. I got to go over here in this one at 241.5. The Nuggets are 27-13 as a favorite. The Lakers are 14-9 to the 27-13 to the over as a favorite. The Nuggets are, and the Lakers are 14-9 to the over as a dog here. So I'd probably prefer the over in this game rather than the side in this one. The first meeting of the season between these two teams did stay under, and they're going to meet again. But in this one, I'm going to go over tonight with the Lakers and the Nuggets here. Nuggets have gone over in 11 of their last 15 overall. This series has gone under in 10 of the last 14, but right now I'm going over here. Let's go to the chat pros here for the last NBA game. All right, Nuggets all day for Timmy Two Shoes. Jokic to have a triple-double. And Nuggets to roll here, says Andre. Cal Dog says the Lakers, the fake show. Mr. Wester says it's not JJ's fault. He's been dealt a bad hand. Andre's got Jovic for over 12.5 rebounds. Timmy Tush's got Hardaway on the 3-point prop. All right, LeBron, maybe LeBron will be out here. All right, let's see here. Over the total, says viral. Yeah, I gotta think over, but I'm gonna take the over here as my play in this one. All right, that's it for the NBA. We'll go to college basketball now, where we're going to look at each conference tournament, just one highlighted game, I think, from each conference tournament. Sounds like a good strategy, a good plan anyway. Here, keep you posted on these conference tournaments here. Some of them are still in an extended first round. There's some bracketed where some teams are getting some buys and everything like that. But let's start with Arch Madness. That's where we got to go. This is the earliest start on the card. Anyways, there's no true day games tomorrow. This one's somewhat of a day game at, I believe, 3:30 Central Time. But let's go to it. Here we go. The Drake Bulldogs and the Southern Illinois Salukis here. College basketball action. Arch Madness from St. Louis here in the Missouri Valley. So take a look at what's going on in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament here. This will be, like I said, the first round, and there's only 3 first-round games. So, shows you right there how this one will kind of break down a little bit as we get going here. But let me cover it here a little bit, talk about where these teams stand for this season's tournament. The winner of this game will take on top-seeded Belmont. Valpo and Indiana State also play here on Thursday. The winner will take on Bradley on Friday. And then Northern Illinois will take on Evansville. They're a big favorite in that one. Is Northern Iowa. I'm sorry, Northern Iowa, not Northern Illinois. But nonetheless, Northern Iowa is a big 14.5 point favorite there. In that one. So got Arch Madness to kick it off here with Drake and Southern Illinois. Let me hear from you in the chat if you like this one. Let me do a solid and cover some trends between these two teams and see where you stand. Drake's lost 9 games in a row coming in, but hey, we're talking about them because they're the first game up. Meanwhile, Southern Illinois has won 4 in a row, but they're only favored by 5 here. Despite that, Southern Illinois with 4 straight wins and covers over Drake. They beat them 66-61 at Drake as a 1.5-point favorite. Southern Illinois was. They also won and covered at Northern Iowa, won and covered at home against Indiana State, won and covered on the road against Evansville. So not only 4 straight wins and covers, but 3 of them were on the road. Give Southern Illinois some credit here. Meanwhile, for Drake, they're 9-20 against the spread this year. They've failed to cover in 6 straight games right now. They have covered 6 of the last 8 meetings against the Salukis. Actually, the Salukis won back in February at home, 66-61, covering the spread by us, covering the 1.5-point spread. But Drake won at Southern Illinois. So they both won on each other's home court here right now this year. Southern Illinois had a losing streak against Drake. Actually, it's just that they, not been doing as well here. Talking about Drake this season, just 8-11 against the spread as an underdog. But Southern Illinois, pretty okay ATS, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games, winning 6 of the last 7. I mentioned the winning streak here, but also they had won a couple before that. They lost to Bradley and then went on the winning streak. 8 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams have gone under. Southern Illinois has gone under here in 16 of their last 20. They're actually 9-21 to the under. They're also 4-11 to the under as a favorite. See what you guys have here in this one. Drake has gone over in 12 of their last 16 games coming into this one. They're a bit of an over team, but it does feel like Southern Illinois. The move here has been on the under. It was, let me see here, it was 137.5, but we're kind of down to about 135 here right now. So, okay, let's go to the chat pros. Jimmy Choo-Choo is going to take Drake plus the points. Why wouldn't you? Said what talk me off of it? Well, yeah, I don't know. Drake here, 6 straight. What do we say? 6 straight spread losses, 9 straight losses overall, and Southern Illinois has won and covered 4 straight. I like Southern Illinois. Here, look, we're in a neutral site. Maybe there'll be something to that. Andre likes Southern Illinois. Cal Dog likes Southern Illinois. Mr. Western just does not like Southern Illinois. I'm taking Southern Illinois here in this one. Give me Southern Illinois here. Look, like I said, the move has been on the under here. Southern Illinois is kind of a big time under this season, although you could make a case, I think, here a little bit. Some of these games that you get here with Drake on the road in conference, we're on a neutral site game, but they do sometimes have, and this is kind of a long term, and maybe just my intuition a little bit watching the Drake games, but it does feel like sometimes that they have a tendency to go over a little bit in this role. It's just that the neutral site is, maybe I just don't have enough data on it to try to back that up. So the total here, look, 136, and you look at Drake's games this year, most of them are, or at least the conference games, it feels like, have been all over this number. Let me look at a couple of them here that while they've been losing. Let's see. 128 against Northern Iowa, so that definitely is under this number. 145 against Valpo, that's over this number, but it went under. Against Southern Illinois, that game I mentioned, it was 149.5 was the total, but only 127 points. That game was on February 18th, like I said, and it was, Southern Illinois winning at Drake in that one. So 148 against Northern Iowa, 150, yeah. Man, there might be some indicators for the under, but Drake usually goes a little bit higher than this set number, if you know what I mean. 15 of their last 17 games, those two I mentioned, they had actually gone over this number in 10 straight. Or let's see, I'm sorry, in 14 straight games, and then now they've gone under this number in 2 of 3. I don't mean under, although they had some 3 straight unders, but under this particular number in 15 of their last 17 games overall. All right, Timmy says it opened 140. All right, Timmy Chushu says public 75% on the over. Drake possibly here for Shane. And Timmy likes the over now that it's moved down. Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of starting to feel it like Timmy here. It's just that Southern, like I said, Southern Illinois is such a hardcore under that's what's kind of neutralizing Drake's, rash of overs. The stats this season wouldn't necessarily say Drake has a lot of overs, although they are 17-12 to the over overall, but just 10-9 to the over as an underdog. I'm going to take Southern Illinois. Let's go to the MAAC, as I like to call it. Is this going to be the last ever Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference tournament, and then they'll change their name? Sacred Heart is taking on Iona here in this one of 2 games here today in the first round in Atlantic City. Iona here is favored by 2.5. The total 147.5 here in this one. Iona comes in here, the 8 seed. They're 18-13, and Sacred Heart comes in 13-18, exactly opposite record, but they're only the 9 seed. That's because in conference tournament play, they were a little bit closer. Iona went 10-10. Sacred Heart went 9-11. The problem with the MAAC is they don't invite everybody. Maybe those other teams didn't deserve it. Talking about Niagara, Canisius, and Ryder, but all 3 of those teams weren't invited here to Atlantic City. All right, for Iona, they come in here off of a couple of wins over Ryder and Manhattan. They've actually covered 4 straight, winning 3 of their last 4. Sacred Heart comes in off of a win at home over Mount St. Mary's. They've been covering here lately as well. A little bit of a nice cover streak right now for Sacred Heart, although they've lost 2 of their last 3 games overall. Sacred Heart comes in here right now, having covered 4 of the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams. In fact, when they met in their only meeting back in December, it was Iona getting the win, 81-69 as a 1.5-point dog. Before that, it had been Cover City for Sacred Heart. Iona's won 4 of its last 6 and covered 5 of their last 6 coming in. Iona's gone under in 14 of their last 18 games right now, and Iona also a heavy under in conference play this season. Sacred Heart's gone under in 4 of their last 6 games. Iona as a favorite, 6-13 to the under. Sacred Heart as an underdog, 6-9 to the under. The regular season meeting between the 2 teams did indeed go under here. I gotta think this one's primed for a Ramon under at 148. See what you have. I say the first one went under, but the total was 163 in that game, and actually they scored 150 points in that game. But there's a lot to look for here when it comes to some of these Iona games, actually. In the conference tournament, over the years, Iona never plays a game this high. In fact, 17 of their last 18 conference tournament games in the MAAC have gone under this number considerably. In fact, 17 of their last 18 MAAC tournament games have been under 144 points. Now you might say, hey, well, those are, all the years. I mean, how can you really draw that as a comparison? But like I said, Iona is 6-13 to the under as a favorite this year, and 11-20 to the under overall. So they've always been kind of an under team. Sacred Heart is not showing any penchant for over, right? I mean, they're 14 and like I said, 6-9 to the under as a dog, 14-16 to the under overall. That's not a big trend, but I mean, they're not going over. So I got to go under here in this one with Sacred Heart and Iona in the MAAC. Let's go to the chat pros in this one, and it's going to be Mr. Weskers is on Iona. And so Timmy says, what's Ramon going to say? All right. Let's see here. Cal Dog is like an Iona here. And Timmy says, yeah, well, not only that, the totals moved lower here in this game. A little bit of a move with Sacred Heart and Iona. Opened here a little higher, he says. One book opened as high as 151. So give me the under here in this one with Sacred Heart and Iona. Hello to Victor Rojas in the chat. Great job. And also Shaq is here, and he likes Iona. Hey, I'm having a great time here talking NCAA tournament, conference tournament action. Let's move to, I'm sorry, you guys, I want to say real quick here with the MAAC tournament. So Iona and Sacred Heart, the winner gets number 1 seed Merrimack. For the other game in the tournament tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. This one's at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Manhattan will take on Fairfield. The winner will take on St. Peter's in the quarterfinals. The other matchups are Quinnipiac and Marist, Siena and Mount St. Mary's. All right. Okay, let's go to that crazy Sun Belt. And we all, the ladder tournament, right? So how did it go for those teams that were so we saw in the first game, right? Remember I said you got to win the 5 games and go up the ladder in the Sun Belt. Well, how did Louisiana do in their game after they beat Georgia State? They got beat by James Madison, 87-72 there yesterday. We talked about it. That was our preview game here, right? Yesterday. We previewed we did preview the other game, didn't we? We had the over in the Old Georgia Southern. So, but what happened with Old Dominion with after they beat Louisiana Monroe and they had to play Georgia Southern? Georgia Southern won. So far the teams that won and they lost. So now we get these two, and now they take on the next level of team. James Madison takes on Southern Miss here. This one's at 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific. James Madison, 17-14. They do come in off of that win over Louisiana yesterday, 87-72. They got the money, and they've been getting the money. They lost to Coastal, no problem. Coastal's a 3 seed here, but that was before the tournament, and they come in here and looked good. These games are being played in Pensacola, Florida. The other bracket, like I said, for just touch on it real quick, Georgia Southern is taking on Arkansas State after Georgia Southern won 88-84 there yesterday. So lying in wait for the winners of this game is Texas State. The winner of this game will move on. And in the other game, South Alabama awaits the winner of Arkansas State and Georgia State. So let's see how you have it, though, here. James Madison, like I said, pretty good here of late. Definitely covering some numbers, but they have not been a good favorite this year. James Madison is just 5-11 against the spread as a favorite. Southern Miss is 8-10 against the spread overall, but like I said, I'm picking on James Madison a little bit here, but they have covered 5 of their last 6 games and won 7 of their last 8 overall. For Southern Miss here, they've won 4 of 6, but they've covered 7 of their last 8 coming in, including yesterday's game against USA, winning 68-55. They've covered 4 straight. Looks like these teams have some momentum a little bit. As far as the total's concerned in this one, you got a Southern Miss team. They are 10-8 to the over as a dog, but James Madison 6-10 to the under as a favorite. And James Madison's gone under in 9 of their last 12 games overall. That'd probably be the direction I'd look here with these two, because again, I think Southern Miss is kind of in that boat where we do see them kind of go under in this particular role. So let's see what the chat pros have here with James Madison taking on Southern Miss Golden Eagles here. But usually when you get Southern Miss in these tournament games, these neutral site games, they just have trouble putting up a whole lot of points. All right, let's see what you got though. These two teams met back in January. It was 73-65. Southern Miss got the win at home as a 1.5-point favorite. All right, chat pros. Let's see here. Okay, Cal Dog is on James Madison. And Old Dominion was a thumbs down there. Old Dominion was a thumbs down there yesterday in that game. We did have the over here on Night Moves, so in that game at least did go over. And let's see here. JMU gets the revenge. Timmy Two Shoes says they'll take them. Timmy said this one opened 144.5. All right. And, is it 142? Oh, wow. Is it 142.5? Thank you, Jimmy. I typed these in while I was watching some of the basketball last night. And let me move it down here. Let's make sure we stay accurate. 142.5. Oh, boy. Well, I was going to play the total under. You guys know that. I guess I'm still going to do it. I mean, I love a solid move like this. All right. I'm going to go under again here with James Madison and Southern Miss. Here I go with my unders. Thank you, gang. Pardon me there. All right. Good one there. Thanks to the chat pros. Look, I'm going to look at one. Oh, there was one more comment here, maybe. Okay. I'm going to look at one regular season game here just because it's a season finale right now in the MEAC. And you got Howard here trying to wrap it up. And they're against a decent team on the road here. So there is a chance here in the MEAC that Morgan State plays Coppin. Coppin was only 5-8, so Morgan State should win. Morgan State is at home against Coppin. They're only favored by 5 points in that game, but Howard here is favored by 5 on the road at Norfolk. Howard's 10-3, Norfolk's 8-5 in conference play, and Howard can win the title here with a win. Now, this game's good because, Morgan State's had a good season. Howard is kind of head and shoulders, but you really do have the 4 best players in the conference in this game. Howard with Harrison, Taylor, and Norfolk with McComb and Jameson. So good matchup here between these two teams. Like I said, Howard trying to wrap it up. They're 10-3 in conference play. Morgan State is 9-4. Norfolk is 8-5. They can't win the title, but could play spoiler here at home against Howard. So watch out in this one. I thought it was worth a look here as these teams play the final game of the season here in the MEAC. And they get to the conference tournament here. So, All right, I just want to peek at this one. Howard 20-10, Norfolk 15-15. Howard's on a winning streak here right now for sure. So they're trying to put it down and finish strong. For Howard, they come in here right now as a 4.5, 5-point favorite on the road. The total 148.5 here in this one. Norfolk was hot too, but they did lose their last game, kind of a key loss there to Morgan State, 90-84. I think we talked about that one, right? Because we were on Morgan, I think, in that game, and I don't know if everybody was agreeing with me in that one. Howard has covered 9 straight games right now, though, coming into this one. Norfolk, though, 5-1 straight up and against the spread. Howard is 19-7 against the spread this season, 12-5 against the spread as a favorite. Howard, a good cover team here, and they've been rolling teams left and right. These two teams did meet back in January, and it was won by Howard. 88-60 at home as a 7.5-point favorite. But Norfolk's won 17 of their last 20 games at home dating back to last year. Actually, the 3 home losses in that streak were this season, actually, because they had won their last 8 games at home last year. Norfolk has gone over in 8 of their last 11. Howard's gone over in 8 of their last 12. Yeah, you see these two teams. They also, I believe, have a little bit of series history between each other going over as well. It's just the move here, and I think you guys can point it out. You guys are, Timmy might point it out. I believe the move here, though, has been on the under here. But with those 4 sharp scorers here, the last 4 meetings have all been over, I think, here between these two, or at least over this number. Let me see here. Was 148 in that game. Landed pretty much right on the number in January. 150 last season at Howard. 167 last season at Norfolk. The second game was the 81-69. The 150 last year was a conference tournament game, neutral, but a home site game, I believe. So these guys, this is real close to this number, to be honest, real close. They do go over 4 straight over this number here at 140. Oh, is it 148 now? No, it's 140. Oh, it's only 145.5. It's gone down. Oh, am I going to take it over here? I am. I'm going to go over in this. Let's go over. At 145.5. Let's go over in this one. I'm going to take the over with Howard and Norfolk. Look, Howard is doing a great job. They're definitely covering. They're maybe a little bit better, but Norfolk has a nice home court, don't they? Let's see if you guys like this game. Miak here. Howard trying to win the title. Norfolk trying to spoil it. And then we'll see what happens. Like I said, Howard could still lose and win the title. But again, they're relying on Morgan State at home to lose. Coppin has not looked that good. Okay, here we go with. Hey, Kelly's in the chat. Says the over series looks like an over. And like I said, I was typing these spreads in watching the Clipper game last night. That's how long it's been. And then now it's 145.5 on a move here. I'm going to go over. Kelly says, what about the double overtime game that these two teams played, though, recently, too? An over, but that one was kind of influenced by a little bit of overtime. Thank you, Kelly. I didn't have that. I'd have to look that up. Overtime games I always have to look up. So, okay, let's see here. I don't know though. I don't see it on the. I don't have it on my notes, I'm afraid. Good job, Kelly. All right, let's see here. Okay, that might be it from the chat in this one. So I'm going to take the over here with those scorers right now. There's no doubt that this game has been push to the under here. There's been some betting activity on the under in this game overnight. Okay. Hey, Jermaine made it in the chat tonight. I've got some more tournament action to look at. I'm looking at one game from each conference here and kind of, oh, darn it. Oh, no, that was a regular season. Okay. Let's go to the Ohio Valley here with Lindenwood taking on Southeast Missouri State. Closely rated game here. This one's in Evansville, Indiana. Here in this one with Lindenwood. Kind of a late finish there last night in Evansville, Indiana, but see what you got here. This one at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific time, with Lindenwood coming in here as a 1.5 point dog. Southeast Missouri 19-12. Lindenwood 17-14. Coming here into this one. We've already seen action here in the Ohio Valley so far, and that's how we got to this point. They're playing the step ladder format. Lindenwood beat Little Rock 72-62 last night to get the win and cover. They covered 5.5, their second straight cover. They also covered against Western Illinois in their finale, but they are just 3-7 against the spread. Their last 10 games overall, 10-18 against the spread overall. For Southeast Missouri here, they were the bye team here in this one. They are the 3 seed, and Lindenwood was the 6 seed. So Southeast Missouri comes in here right now with a win over Tennessee Tech, 89-73 in the season finale to cover. They failed against Tennessee State, but were on a bit of a cover run before that. In fact, they beat Lindenwood at Lindenwood 73-61 as a 1.5 point dog back on Valentine's Day. The first meeting of the season back in January, Southeast Missouri won at home 88-76. Let me get this straight. Southeast Missouri won at Lindenwood, but Lindenwood won at Southeast Missouri. So they both won on each other's home floor this season. The other side of the bracket, Eastern Illinois, did advance, beating Edwardsville 77-71 in an upset. They will advance to play UT Martin. The winner of this game will take on Morehead State. Tennessee State is the number 1 seed. They await the winner of Martin and Eastern Illinois. They are not a reseed in this conference. Lindenwood, a decent over this season, 17-11 to the over. Coming in, let's see what you got in the chat pros in this one between Southeast Missouri and Lindenwood here. All right, and Cal Dog likes Southeast Missouri here in this one. All right. Yeah, I mean, Lindenwood has been a pretty dismal cover here of late. I mean, this season especially here. So, all right, nothing else from the chat pro is going to put the pressure on me here to make the call. I'll take Southeast Missouri here in this one to get the win. All they got to do is win here. Like I said, they were the team lying in wait for this one. And Lindenwood playing the back-to-back here. I'll take Southeast Missouri State, the 3 seed, just a 1 point favorite here. Look, lots of respect for Lindenwood. They finished with a couple of wins here, but before that, they did lose to Eastern Illinois and also Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State, and didn't really come close in some of those. They were favored in 2 of those games and lost. So I think better form right now is Southeast Missouri State. Let's go to the Summit and take a look at game 2 at the Sanford Pyramid here on Thursday for the Summit tournament here right now. Over in the Summit, this is South Dakota State and St. Thomas. This is the 2-7 matchup here. The first matchup will be Oral versus North Dakota State. Now, the other two games will not be played until tomorrow, actually. They're only playing two games here. It's a night tournament here at the Sanford Pyramid, so they're not playing all day. They're playing the games at night. So they'll play the games over the next 2 nights. The semifinals will be on Saturday on CBS Sports Network here from the Summit. All right, St. Thomas, though, is favored here. Oral Roberts and North Dakota State's the first game. North Dakota State's an 8.5-point favorite there in that one. But here with South Dakota State taking on the Tommies of St. Thomas. The Tommies are 23-8 coming in, 2 straight wins coming into the tournament for South Dakota State. They actually lost their season finale to South Dakota, 75-70. They were actually favored in that game. These two teams met back in February at South Dakota State. St. Thomas won by 15 as a 1.5-point dog, and St. Thomas also won at home in January by just 5. They actually didn't cover that one. South Dakota State got the money getting 6.5 here. Now, South Dakota State is just 12-16 against the spread this season, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. St. Thomas has actually covered 7 of their last 10 overall, and they're 13-10 against the spread as a favorite here. St. Thomas is 13-10 to the over as a favorite, but South Dakota State 3-6 to the under as a dog. Let's see what you got here in this one between South Dakota State and St. Thomas here. When I think of these two, I'm probably thinking that South Dakota's tempo is a little bit more influential here in this matchup anyway. But St. Thomas did a nice job here, but they've gone under in 3 straight. South Dakota State's gone under in 2 straight here right now. Go ahead in the chat pros if you want here, but South Dakota State just 2-6 ATS in the last 8 games overall. Now, they have covered 6 of the last 7 meetings over St. Thomas, though. South Dakota State has. St. Thomas has won 16 of their last 20. They've covered 6 of their last 8. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under here, and I think that's probably where I'm going here again with this matchup. Probably going to sign me up on the under, but let me go to the chat first, and maybe I can be talked into the side here in this one. All right, chat pros here with Jimmy says that the South Dakota State side is the one seeing the action here. Let me look at that spread, actually, and see how it's going here on the move. Where we're looking at mostly 6s and mostly 6s, although circa 6.5, but another couple of biggest books at 5.5 here right now. So it does feel like, when I see that sharp book laying the 6.5 and everybody else is at 5.5, it makes me want to consider the favorite a little bit. It is a modestly closely rated game anyway. I mean, 5, that's a lot of points, but I will say this: South Dakota State is 0-9 as a straight up as an underdog this season. So, yeah, they're getting the points, but when you're 0-9 not covering, I think that kind of also says that just not a great team here. But all right, let me go to that has me interested there. But all right, for South Dakota State, a lot of times these tournament games, they really don't put up a lot of points. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take the Tommies in this one. Give me St. Thomas here. But man, I might be looking at a premium for that total. I don't know. We'll see. Nobody really interested there in that one. Let's go to one final game. We'll go to the West Coast Conference here. I think I got one more here. I might have left off here. I might have missed the game time on this one. I'm going to go. I missed this one. Sorry, gang. Got two more here. I think this one, since this was the added board, I think the extra board here, I missed putting it in the right order. But we do have 4 games tonight at the Patriot League here with BU, 3-point favorite against American here in this one. The Patriot League are playing at home sites here right now. And Boston U, a 3-point favorite over American, total 138. For Boston University, they come in 15-16, American 16-15. Boston played pretty well down the stretch. They had back-to-back wins over Holy Cross, who already has a win in this tournament, and they also beat Lehigh. In fact, Holy Cross plays Lehigh after Holy Cross upset Lafayette in the first round. These two teams got buys here into this round. They'll play the winner of Navy and Bucknell. Navy's the number 1 seed in the tournament. The winner of the Lehigh Holy Cross game, which will also all these games take place at the same time, I believe today, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time. American just 3-7 ATS in their last 10 games overall. BU has covered 7 of their last 10 overall coming into this one. These two teams met back on February 28th. BU won at American 68-65 as a 3-point dog. However, earlier in the season in January, American won at BU 64-62. Both close games. Both games did go under here, and we're looking at this total here right now. It's a Timmy Two Shoe special, right? Because this one's had a big move too. Oh wow! It's 140. Oh man. Okay. I'm getting excited. I'm going under here in this one. Let me get that total right. I'm sure it went down. The send out here was 138. I'm going under. I'm going under here with American and BU. Watch out for overtime, maybe, but give me the under in this one. I think we've seen kind of a move to the over here, actually, but maybe Timmy will tell us. Let's go to the chat here in this one. I got one more here right now, and let's see. BU here for Cal Dog. Hey, I want to say hello and welcome to Mon Therabudabarb. I hope I got it right, brother. And will there be any NHL? You bet there will. We're just seconds away from our NHL picks. Kelly does like the under. All right, Kel. Yes. Thank you to Munthar Budarb. Sounds like a medication for a horse. We're live here in Las Vegas. All right, let's see here. Where are the West Coast games, right? We're going to get one here, Kelly. I got one West Coast game coming up right now. We're going to preview. We're not done with the colleges just yet. Okay, now total went up. I'm going down. Give me the under. Okay, let me go out. One West Coast game here. All those West Coast tournaments, so they'll play next week for the most part. But we are underway, and we are in Las Vegas with the San Diego Toreros. They're going to take on the Loyola Marymount Lions. West Coast Conference here. This is the late game, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. The early game here is Pepperdine and Portland, a closely rated game there. 1.5 for Portland. So let's take a look at what is going on in the West Coast Conference tournament here. And again, a little bit, thanks for the memories. West Coast Conference will continue, but without Gonzaga here after this tournament anyway. Uh, Everyone's invited. We're in a stepladder tournament here with these two. Gonzaga and St. Mary's have already advanced to the semifinals. Congratulations. Uh, these two teams would have to win 4 straight games in order to make it to the semifinals. It'll be hard enough just to win one. For USD here, they're 11-20 coming in. They're the 5.5 point dog. LMU's 15-16. The winner of this game will take on Seattle in the next round. Meanwhile, the winner of the Portland Pepperdine game will take on Washington. This is the 10-11 seed game here with these two. San Diego's been a pretty crummy cover this season, but both teams are 3-7 ATS in their last 10 games actually coming into this one. So for San Diego here, they've lost 6 straight games to LMU, failing to cover in 5 of the last 6. LMU did win at USD back in February, just 3 weeks ago, 77-65 to get the money as a 2.5 point favorite. 2 weeks earlier, they won at home, 83-63 as a 6.5 point favorite. So LMU has had USD's number here, covering 4 straight meetings between the two teams. San Diego just 1-7 straight up and against the spread in their last 8 games overall. LMU's lost 9 of 13 actually coming in, but they are 11-6 as a favorite this year. They've done a pretty good job. They are just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games overall. So LMU's gone under in 4 of their last 6. 7 of the last 10 meetings between the two teams have gone under here, but I've got LMU in a blowout here. USD fired their coach a few weeks ago. Steve Lavin was their coach. He got let go. He was taken just a siesta here. I actually think that USD have followed this program very closely, and I believe that once Gonzaga leaves the West Coast Conference, that USD is going to pick up. Yes, it's easy to say without Gonzaga would be better in conference, but they're in an interesting predicament, and if they could just get a little bit of momentum in a team that is in a league that isn't won by Gonzaga anymore, or St. Mary's for that matter, they're gonna be better off here in this conference in the future. Okay, let's see what we got here in the last one, and Kelly says, "Look, Portland beat Gonzaga earlier this season. They got a nice little team there, the Portland Pilots." All right, Kelly and I, we're always in sync on our totals. And Timmy, do I have to correct it here? Gosh, it was a long time ago with that Clipper game when I was watching it. Let me update the total then. Oh man, I will say sometimes I 146.5 now. Oh, we have it right. Yeah. Okay. It was 148.5 earlier, higher there. Okay. Great. Cal Dog likes USD though. And Timmy says that San Diego taking a little bit of action though. Yeah, it's gone from 5.5 probably to 5 here a little bit. All right. And Cal Dog like an LMU. All right, that's it for the college basketball. We have a special request for some hockey. You don't need to make a special request. We're always covering hockey here on Night Moves. And to be fair, we will not be covering every hockey game here tonight. I think I've kicked out a couple of games tonight. We've got to start to draw the, yes, in hockey, you can make a comeback here, even 10 points down right now with 20 to play or whatever, but you almost have to win them all, don't you? So I got to be realistic here. And let's start it off here with you guys. I think you guys were talking a little Rangers and Leafs in the chat, but I'm actually skipping the Rangers and the Leafs. I think that those teams are Dunsky. Don't you guys agree? Let's go to this. Let's go to the first one I've got scheduled here. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, we've got the Florida Panthers on the road taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now the Panthers are they're one of the teams I've kind of been hanging on with and trying to say, hey, could the Panthers here possibly, still come back? Everyone's kind of held out hope or held out that they would be able to, turn it around, get healthy here, but it just hasn't materialized for the Panthers here. Now they are in a close pick'em game here against Columbus. Now Columbus, they're hanging on. They're in a dogfight here. We think of how good they've been of late here, Columbus, but they're still just barely hanging on to a playoff spot. But they've won 2 in a row again here right now, and consecutive wins over Nashville and the Rangers. Florida, meanwhile, consecutive losses, 3 of them. Buffalo, the Islanders, and New Jersey here. Florida just has not been able to get it done this season. For Columbus here, look, they're okay at home. I mean, they're only 15 and 13. They're good at home, but usually they're favored. It's funny because they're a terrific favorite, Columbus, at 17 and 5, but yet they're down like a half a unit this season. So, man, are they really overrated a little bit at home? They're only $1.15 here right now. Florida, the one thing they've done, they're 11 and 5 as an underdog, so that really lends to the disappointment of this Florida team here. Successful as an underdog, yet what are they, like 15 and 25 or something? 15 and 25 as a favorite maybe here. So yeah, it's been a little bit ugly there, but these two teams played in December was 7-6. Florida won at home. Florida is 19 and 9 to the over on the road. Columbus is 14 and 8 to the over as a favorite here. I think this one could be headed for goals again here tonight with Bob and Elvis in the building. Here, let's fire up the goalie computer and see if there's been any confirmations here anyway overnight. And hey, we're just minutes away right now, you guys. For those of you joining us live, 5 minutes away from World Baseball Classic right now. Czechia and Korea. And if you missed it at the top of the show, I'm laying 6.5 runs with Korea. I'm also kind of going under there. I know it's a little bit of a thread the needle special there because that's at 11.5, I think. So I don't have much margin for error. I need the score to be pretty much 9-2. But if you don't want to go all the way there and try to, those are my 2 picks anyway. If you don't want to lay 6.5 runs, I think maybe under is the best way to go in that game. Okay. All right, we're talking Columbus and Florida here in this one right now. Like I said, Columbus is heading, battling for the postseason, and Florida, not so much. And maybe I'll go to the total, though. Let me see what you guys have here in this one with Florida and Columbus. Florida's won only the last 9 meetings in a row against Columbus, so maybe there is something to that there. But again, they're not quite as good, and Columbus has won 9 of 11 right now. They're, kind of overshadowed by some of the hot teams. That's how well they've played. Columbus is also 5-1 in their last 6 games at home. Florida just 2-8 straight up in their last 10. Florida's gone over in 6 straight on the road. They've also gone over in 9 of their last 12. Columbus has gone under in 4 of their last 6. But like I said, they usually win as a favorite. They usually go over as a favorite. So let's see what you got in this one. Columbus and Florida have gone over in 13 of the last 19 meetings. Speaking of 13, right? That's what they had in the last game they played. 7-6, as I said. Here we go. Hey, I want to say hello to Kylie Reynolds in the chat there with bringing their play of the day there. Thank you, Kylie. Great to have Kylie as a chat pro tonight. All right, let's see here. Timmy's on Florida. Kelly says, BTTS, first period in this one. Going to get off to a hot start with the goals. I do like it over here, I think. Also, Kylie talking more basketball. Kylie might be behind us a little bit, but Marshawn to score there. Cal Dog, though, on the under here in this one. And maybe Kelly might be on CBJ. And, talking about the defense, talking about the goals there, right, Kelly, with Werenski here upgraded to questionable a little bit. Boone Jenner questionable here for Columbus as well. Cole Schwint is out for Florida here in this one. Okay, I think I got to make my call here between Florida and Columbus. Man, Florida dominates these guys, but it's a different Florida. Come on. Give me the Columbus Blue Jackets here to beat Florida in this one. Columbus fighting for the playoffs. Varakanov. Jimmy talking about Varakanov in there. Okay, let's go next up. The Mammoth are on the road here, taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. And the Mammoth are favorite on the road here against Philly. A Mammoth here. We're talking about who's going, who's in, who's out. Right now, the Mammoth, hey, good news. I think if the season ended today, they've had a pretty good run here right now. 4th place in the Central Division behind Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. Yeah, they're fighting, but they might make it here for the Flyers here. They're on the outside looking in. They're not too far off the pace, but they got to win, especially when they're at home right now. They have won 3 in a row, so you got to give them credit here. Fighting here for the postseason. Utah comes in off of a win as well here on the road. Started against Washington, won it 3-2. They're Mammoth are 24-15 as a favorite this season, but Philadelphia 14-9 at home. It's just that Philly's a crummy underdog, 15-26 straight up as a dog. Philadelphia's lost 13 of their last 19, while Utah's won 13 of their last 19. Utah's won 4 of its last 6 games on the road here. 12 of the last 17 meetings between these franchises have gone over, but Philadelphia right now has gone under in 7 straight games. They've been an over this season, especially as a dog. They're 25-16 to the over, but they've gone under in 5 straight at home as well. Let's go to the chat, see what you have here in this one. I'm taking the Utah Mammoth to win on the road. Give me Utah here over Philly. I'm going to take the Mammoth in this one. Jimmy Two Shoes likes the over. Want to say hello to Chi Chi Live joining us in the chat. Thank you, Chi Chi Live. So nice to have you here. Cal Dog likes the over in this one. Yeah. And man, Philly's been, playing some unders here for sure. But the last meeting, the only meeting so far this season, they're going to play twice here. But it was 5-4. Mammoth got the win at home back on January 21st. The Mammoth has actually won both games last season as well. So 3 straight wins in the series for the Mammoth here. All right. And Chi Chi Live is going to be going with the Flyers. Thanks for chiming in, Chi Chi Live. I like that. I think I could say that here on the show. All right, I'm going to take the Mammoth this one on the road, though. Cal Dog may be going a little over there, the team total. Is that right? Is that what that is? Okay, next up. We got some important games on this card, okay? We got some good games, too. Look at this one. The Sabres and the Penguins here. This turned out to be a good, important game here right now. The Buffalo Sabres. We love this team. I mean, 4 in a row again here right now. They just, it's amazing. Just when you want to say fluke, or just when you want to say they're going to have to give a few back, they just keep on coming and keep on winning. Buffalo's won 4 of their last 5. They've won 8 of their last 9 games on the road. However, Pittsburgh has won 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two. Pittsburgh's been hot too, although they've lost 2 of their last 3. They've won 4 of their last 5 at home and 9 of their last 13 games overall. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over, including the last meeting here between the two teams. It was in Buffalo, actually, 5-2. Pittsburgh won it. Pittsburgh's won 4 straight overall between the two teams. The two teams also met a couple of times this season, won by Pittsburgh. So Buffalo hasn't lost to many teams. Pittsburgh's kind of been a thorn in their side. Buffalo, though, like I said, 8-1 now in their last 9 games on the road right now. They're 18-11 on the road. Pittsburgh's 15-8 at home, and Pittsburgh's got a nice club here. They're definitely in the midst of things. Pittsburgh in 3rd place currently in the Metro, tied with the Islanders actually on 75 points. Meanwhile, for the Sabres here right now, the Sabres are in 2nd behind Tampa Bay, only 2 points behind Tampa Bay. Can you believe it? Tampa's lost 3 straight. Could you imagine if Buffalo could come up and win the division over as good as Tampa has been here of late? All right, it's a close line, and look, Pittsburgh's got a good team and a good record at home, 15-8-7. Well, you'll take that. Buffalo on the road, 18-11-3. Let's see how you guys have it here in this one. Go to the chat all-stars here. We've got here Sabres for Cal Dog. You can't get off these Sabres right now. Man, Pittsburgh has had their number a little bit, but today's a different day. Sabres to get this one, says Timmy. Chi-Chi says, you got to love what the Sabres are doing, but Pittsburgh here is at home. They play well against them, right? A lot of unders here. Gosh, it's so hard to go against this Buffalo team right now, but I'm going to take the Penguins for once. Take a day off from the Sabres here. Give me Pittsburgh tonight. Listen, they've won one of these games in a row here right now over Buffalo. Pittsburgh's on a little bit of a streak against them. All right, next up. We're talking Tampa Lightning here, right? 3 losses in a row, taking on the Jets. Now, look, the Jets are toast here. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to make up the difference here to get into the playoffs, I don't think, especially the way they've been. They're down 16 units so far this season as I think as the worst team in the league money-wise outside of Vancouver, of course, but they get a pass. Other than that, the Jets have been a big money burner here this season. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, we got a 19-7-4 record on the road, but they've lost 3 straight here, strangely enough. I think I skipped the Boston game there. We'll get it here. Oh no, I just had them backwards. Is there a time change or something, or did I blow it? Okay, no, we're still looking at the Boston game. I think I just missed it here a little bit. Had them backwards in the rotation here. So you got Tampa Bay here on the road. Look, the Jets are definitely not going anywhere. Tampa hungry for a win. They need to snap this 3-game losing streak. I think they will. Tampa Bay is 19-7 on the road still this season. Winnipeg is 5-18 as an underdog here. They're 16-7 as a puck line dog in Tampa Bay. 19-30 as a puck line favorite. Not awful here, but I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay it here with the Lightning on the road, on the puck line. That'll be my play here. Give me the Lightning minus a goal and a half here in this one over the Jets. Tampa Bay here, they've still won 15 of their last 20. They're just 2-5 in their last 9 against Winnipeg, but they've still won 9 of their last 13 on the road. Winnipeg has dropped 4 of 6. Winnipeg's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, but they've been an under most of the season. In fact, Winnipeg is 16-7 to the over as an underdog, 17-12 to the over on the road. Tampa's gone over in 5 of their last 7. I think the over might, and maybe that would be a more sound play, but Tampa should be able to handle this one. They did win the first meeting at home 4-1. So I'm going to try Tampa again here on the puck line today. Let's see what you have here. Tampa beats these guys, says Timmy Two Shoes. He'll take him on the puck line. Cowdog is on the over there for sure. And let's see, did I see if any of these goalies were confirmed? Did anybody see any goalie confirmations? Nope, just speculative here still with all these goalies today. Oh, Sorokin in the final here, but we'll get to that one in just a moment. All right, Chi Live here says maybe the Jets. Jets under for Timmy Two Shoes there. Okay. No problem there. All right, we got a couple of more here right now. Like I said, I got to go to the Bruins game here in this one, and I think it's going to be Swayman here possibly for the Bruins against Juice Sarish. And the Predators actually a slight favorite here, it looks like, at 115 or so right now. Here we go. Let's talk about this one with Bruins on the road here, 24-21-5. There are a slight dog here. Nashville, 27-26-8. Nashville's lost 3 straight games coming into this one. Nashville, they're not going to make it here to the postseason, I don't think. They're on 62 points. They could still have a big surge and get there, but they're sitting on the outside looking in here right now. Boston, meanwhile, just on the cusp as well, trailing those, the Atlantic, pretty strong division here too right now. For the Bruins, win over Pittsburgh last time out, 2-1 2 nights ago. They did lose to Philly before that. These two teams met back on January 27th. It was 3-2. Boston got the win at home there in that one. Let's see what you have maybe in this one between Boston and the Predators here tonight in Nashville. For Nashville here, they've lost 5 of their last 6 overall, but the Bruins have lost 5 straight on the road, despite the fact that they've won 12 of their last 17 games overall. Boston's won 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Nashville's gone under in 5 straight, but Boston's gone over in 8 of their last 12, actually, coming in. Nashville's 3 consecutive losses here right now have come to Dallas, Detroit, and Columbus. They haven't played awful, but they're not being rewarded in the win column right now. I'm talking about the Nashville Predators here. So let's see what you have here. This one with Boston taking on Nashville. All right, here we go with Timmy Two Shoes. He likes the Predators. Cal Dog likes the Predators here in this one. You guys liking the Preds to get it done right now. All right. Nashville is 18-14 to the over at home. Boston 16-11 to the over on the road, and 23-17 to the over as an underdog. Like I said, that first meeting was just 3-2, and this is often an under series. Like I said, 6 of the last 7 between the two teams have gone under. Let me look at that price here. Oh yeah, 6 over 25 here right now. That is a pretty stiff price for this series here. Give me the under in this one with Boston and Nashville. I'll try the under here in this one. Man, that was my first total. All right, let's go to the last game now. I actually am skipping over the Senators and the Flames. Does anybody think the Senators can get it going there? They're on 67 points, but I'm leaving them out of the preview here. Let's go to the last one. It's going to be the Islanders taking on the Kings here, and Sorokin, I think, is going to be in there tonight for the Islanders. They're on this road trip here right now. So 35, 22, and 5. The Islanders had their winning streak snapped there last night by Anaheim. Look, I mean, it looked like a game where we talked about it last night. I actually went over, and I think I got a push out of it, although it went up to 6.5, I think, there. We were talking about that 6 over last night, right? No, I think it did go under the 6.5 there. Final score, of course, was 5-1 in that one, so it didn't go under. But still, the Islanders have been on a roll until that. They had won. This was the first game of the road trip. Remember, they had that tough scheduling that I thought was going to be detrimental here. We're underway with the Czech Republic and Czechia. I got to say it right now. Czechia and Korea here. Underway. The World Baseball Classic. No ABS. The umpire was having a hard time in that first game. Man, you need ABS in the World Baseball Classic. Okay, Islanders on the road. Like I said, Islanders, man, they were hot here coming in to this one. Islanders winners of 5 of their last 6 overall. The Kings have dropped 6 of their last 7. This has always been a trouble spot for the Islanders, though. They're just 1-7 their last 8 against the Kings. Kings have won 5 straight at home against them. Kings need to win so bad. They beat Calgary the other day, but really they've been in a slump, like I said, with 6 losses in the last 7 games. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Islanders have gone under in 6 of their last 8 on the road coming into this one, although they've gone over in 4 of their last 6 overall, but those included more home games for sure. Like I said, though, they had that weird stretch where they played games on the road, went home for one game, and then back out on the road all the way to the West Coast, and now they're on the back-to-back here. It feels like as good as they've been, and maybe as bad as the Kings have been, it does feel like the travel schedule is against the Islanders for sure here in this one. But it's just the Kings are just finding a way to win any games. I mean, the only team they can beat is Calgary. That's not saying much. All right, here we go. Islanders here for Timmy Two Shoes. Cal Dog is on. It says Islanders will bounce back after last night playing the Ducks. Timmy on the over. The Islanders wake up. I've got the under in this one here. Give me the under tonight with the Islanders and the Kings. Guess if I had to talk about a little bit here. First meeting was 4-1 back in March there of wait. Oh, no, this is the first meeting. They're going to play again here this season, huh? Okay, sorry about that. First meeting of the season between these two teams. Islanders are 13-20 on the road to the under this season. I'll take the under here in this one. Right, Jim isn't too far from LA to Anaheim, right? No, but I'm just saying you got to go on there in the back-to-back. That's more significant. All right, I guess that's it for just in time for me to watch some baseball. That's going to do it here for Night Moves. I want to thank everyone, man. We might have had record participation in the chat. We've got a great I always get disappointed when I have to leave you, and we've got a nice crowd in the chat watching me. I love the attention, but I think our previews are over here for the most part, and I really appreciate it. Hey, everyone, head on over to Tony'sPicks.com if you've never seen our website. You know, there aren't a lot of multi-handicapper websites really out there anymore, and I guarantee you they don't run as smoothly as Tony'sPicks.com. Just go over there and feel the functionality of it, especially when you go to the handicapper leaderboards to see who is hot. It works pretty good, man. You click on, you can actually see what. Look, for example, look at here. Let me see. You can choose the late steam, right? And I'm all about that steam. Look at my late steam here in 2026, 9-1. When I've come in with the late steam. So you can use these little categories here to look at the different types of plays. You can look at spreads, money lines, totals. Everyone says, what about Ramon's totals in there, right? What about there? Oh, I'm still on late steam. I'm 2-0 with my late steam totals there. You can see, who's good in totals, for example, who's good in sides. You can break it all down with the handicapper leaderboards using these drop-down menus. Team totals as well, money lines, spread. There you can see who does well in their $19 plays here as well. So I'm up there in the $19 plays. Get them from me. I'm up 7 1/3 units there in the $19 plays. So check us out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code Tony T at checkout. That'll save you 15% off all premium pick packages. Timmy Choo Choo's, can Panarin do anything there besides skate in a circle right now? There. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being with me here on Night Moves. We'll be back tomorrow with more action here for Saturday. We're or for Friday. For Friday, we're starting to run out of games here a little bit. So they're running out of teams in college basketball when they start dropping off. So, all right, thanks everybody. Really enjoyed it. We'll be back here tomorrow with more Night Moves on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Wouldn't do it without you guys here with me every night, so really appreciate it. And for the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 53,000 subscriber juggernaut. Good night from Las Vegas.